Hi, welcome back, you beautiful souls. Since this got so much likes, comments, and so many views within the first 6 hours of it being uploaded, I decided to record this part because it's already scripted and release it to you beautiful souls. So that being said, where we last left off our story, Izuku got grounded and sent home. So he ran home, and when he got home, Sarah was there, and she had just knocked on the door. And Hasashi was coming out, and a little interaction between Izuku and her happened. And so this is where our story begins for this part. So as Deku finishes up what he said to Sarah, Hisashi opens the door. And Sarah's like, "It's nice to see you, Mr. New." And Hisashi's like, "You don't have to call me Mr. You can just call me New. You know that, right?" And she's like, I wouldn't dare. Like, I wouldn't dare be so disrespectful, sir." And so, New, he kind of laughs at this, and Hizuku's like, "So, Dad, like, what's she doing here?" And so Neo basically says, well, young Izuku, I I've been thinking about this for a couple of months now. And I'm not sure if it will work because different universes and everything. And as he kind of says that, he looked around real quick. And he's like, he turns to Sarah and he's like, "Can I see your lab?" Basically. And what he means by lab of this is basically using the fortress. Because it is technically her property. And he's not like, he doesn't want to use something without asking. He's a good guy. So she says, "Yes, that's awesome." And Izuku's just standing there. "Wait, what, Dad?" And he's like, "Well, there's only one thing I have from our world." And Sarah had already come into the house, and he's basically, and then he turns to Sarah, and he's like, "Well, could you carry my daughter? Because I would like her to see this too. And I'll get my son." And Sarah's like, you guys weren't joking. They really can't fly, can they?" And New's like, "Yeah, they haven't. We don't know what's going on with that. Because you said you've been able to do this for 2 years now, right?" And she says, "Well, I didn't start flying until about a year ago." And New's like, interesting. Because his people aren't like colonizers. They didn't really go out into the galaxy, but they do know, they have sent survey pods and stuff like that. And even if they did, it was, the rumors of them actually being like this have kind of been lost to memory. There's not a lot of information on it. So that being said, he calls his daughter down, and he's like, "Hinata, we're going somewhere. You need to get ready and come downstairs now." And she's like, "I'll be there in a minute, Dad. Just wrapping up this real quick." So Hinata comes down, and she's like, "Oh, we have guests." And Sarah walks up to her and puts her hand out. And Hinata kind of like, "Okay." And Sarah's like, looks down, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You guys grew up here in Japan. I grew up in the States. This is how we greet people over there." And Hinata's like, "Okay," and grabs her hand, and Sarah kind of squeezes it a little too hard, And Hinata goes, ow, that hurt a little bit. And Sarah's like, oh my god, I'm sorry. I thought you were, I thought you were like us. And Hinata's like, what do you mean by us? And Sarah kind of looks at No, and she's like, you guys really didn't, you guys didn't tell them about me? And then Hinata's like, wait, are you the girl from the States that Dad's been talking about? And she's like, yeah, I guess so. But in any case, your dad wants me to help give you a lift. Well, you two would just have to see it to believe it. It's kind of hard for me to explain. So they get everything ready, and they take off to the fortress at the South Pole. So now we cut over to Katsuki and Inko. And Inko kind of, like, on the way taking him home to his mom, she basically asked him, so, young man, are you not... Oh, wait, that's ahead of the part. One moment, I lost my part. So, this is when... sorry about the interruption, but I did lose my part where I was at. So, Inko, she basically is talking to Katsuki, and she's just leisurely flying him home. And she asks him, so, what's going on between you and my son? And I'm not sure if I did this in the last part, but I'm doing it now just to reiterate it. So Katsuki's like, well, ever since that incident happened, it's just been weird. I just don't know how to, like, approach him or, like, interact with him. Like, I know he's a good guy, but I just don't know how to talk with him. So Inka's like, so, young man, you're not sure how to approach him. And he's like, yes, ma'am. It's just, like I said, it's kind of hard for me to interact with him. I just don't know what it is. I think I may be, like, slightly scared of him. And Inka's like, are you scared of me? And he's like, no, like, never, like, you're a hero. And Inka's like, well, my past, I was in the military. I've done worse than my boy has. And Katsuki's eyes just go wide. And he's like, wait, you were in the military? And she's like, yeah, where I come from, I was in the military/police. So I've had to deal with some things that... I've had to do some things that were worse than what my son did to that guy. He was protecting you two. And you yourself did say that he was a good guy. Well, in any case, we're here. And she knocks on the door, and Mitsuki answers the door, and she sees Inka there, and she's like, oh, Power Girl, what are you doing here? And then she looks down at Katsuki, and she's like, what did he do this time? And before Katsuki could say anything in his defense, and he's like, oh, it's nothing like that. Just him and Izuku kind of had a little bit of a tussle. Nothing to be too worried. Neither one of them's hurt. You're not hurt, are you, Katsuki-chan? And Katsuki's like, no, ma'am, I'm not hurt. So, pause. So, all of you are probably wondering why Katsuki isn't kind of freaking out with this. Well, he's known Inko, let's see, it would be like a little over 4.5 years now. Or, no, it'd be more 5.5 years. So that whole seeing a celebrity thing and interacting with them on an every other day basis has kind of winged him. So that being said, let's cut back to the conversation. So Mitsuki apologizes for to Inko to about her taking time out. She's like, "Oh, it's no problem, especially when it comes to like friends, right?" And Inko's like, "We are friends, right, Mitsuki?" And Mitsuki's like, "Oh, yeah, definitely." And because in Inko's mind, she doesn't quite understand humans too well. Like, she understands them, but she doesn't understand. She still hasn't gotten a hang of like social normalities on a few things, so she doesn't really pick up on a few things, and she knows this. And she's like, and she looks around and she's like, "I have something that I would like to discuss with you." And it's just like, "Sure, come in." And she goes and makes like her some tea. And she's like, "Hey, Mitsuki, I have something. I have an idea that it could help your boy out and possibly fix things between the two of them. They are kind of," as Ingo laughs, like, "they are kind of two peas in a pod in a way." And Mitsuki kind of laughs at this too. And she's like, "So, what's your idea, Power Girl?" And Ingo's like, "You don't have to call me that when we're behind closed doors, right?" And Mitsuki's like, "Yeah, but you don't know. You never know who's gonna who's listening." So Mitsuki's like, iterates again. "So what's the plan?" And she's like, "Well, do you mind like this coming summer break if I take young Katsuki up there on a summer break trip?" And Mitsuki says, "Well, what for?" And she's like, "Well, I think he may be scared of my son, and I want to get him some hand-to-hand combat training. And I would help him out a great deal. I think it could help him out with his fear of Izuku and show him that what had happened, it was a complete accident. And Izuku really did, because my son, he doesn't know how to explain that it was an accident to Katsuki, and apparently your son doesn't know how to approach Izuku after that whole thing, and that's why they've had a falling out." So the Mitsuki calls for Katsuki after he went upstairs to drop his stuff off. And he's like, "What's up, Mom?" And Mitsuki comes up, Mitsuki comes up to him and says, "Power Girl has an offer for you." And she's like, I think I can help you out with your little theater. I think that's the word you used. Not sure." And she's like, "And I think it's about time you knew." And she turns to Mitsuki and she's like, Do you have any objections to it?" And Mitsuki's like, "Hey, that part of your life is all on you, Power Girl, and your family. So, do you want to get some training from me?" And Katsuki's like, Are you sure? Like, it would take time away from your hero work, and I don't want to be a bother." So obviously in this what if, Katsuki is more reserved, and he didn't grow up thinking he's tough shit, because he had Izuku there, plus he would see Power Girl. And Izuku did exhibit the same abilities that his parents did, so he knows he's a little outclassed by them. So he's not as confident as he is in canon, but that's not to say that he's no less intelligent than what he is for combat. So we cut back to the conversation, and goes like, it's Fine, little one. I've been meaning to ask Mitsuki about, like, giving you some hand-to-hand combat training. Because if worst case does come to worse, and you do end up having to defend yourself, and I'm pretty sure with what I'm going to teach you, you won't have any issues with anyone on this planet. And he's like, what do you mean planet? And Mitsuki's like, well, that's just something you will have to learn during your training, while as she winks at Inko. So Mitsuki says her goodbyes to Inko in the same thing, and Inko flies home. She gets home. She's like, I guess they're okay. So she goes upstairs and showers and everything, and then goes out back to the yard, and she's like, So she quickly looks around using her X-ray vision, and she's like, they're nowhere around. That means that bonehead is supposed to wait for me. Okay, well, I guess I'll head there. So Mitsuki starts flying at her fastest. And as they are arriving, they just hear, "You were supposed to wait for me!" And Hasashi's like, "Oh crap, I forgot about that." And Izuku's like, "Oh shoot, I was grounded." And Hasashi's like, oh shoot." So she lands and she turns to Izuku, and Izuku's like, "It's his fault. He dragged me here. He's the one that carried me." Inko kind of laughs. He's like, "Sweetie, this isn't. You're still grounded, but this is important." So she turns to Severance, like, "It's nice seeing you again, young Kent." And she's like, "Yeah, so have you guys figured out how to explain your relationship to me to, like, keep our secret?" And by this time, Sarah has been informed that, or Hina has been informed that Sarah is a Kryptonian from this universe, because Inko and Hasashi have, like, told her, like, last year, after she was a little bit older, and has told Izuku. Basically so that they can start teaching them about their culture, because they grew up teaching them where they come from. So they enter the facility and, like, the fortress, and Izuku and Hinata are just in awe of, like, how big this place is. And Sarah's like, "So what did you need to use the fortress for exactly, Mr. Dan?" And he's like, "Well, my theory is that our tech may be compatible with Kryptonian tech from this universe. So I want to use your lab. I don't want to use the main console, because it might fry the system a little bit." So they do, and it works. And Hisashi is he's like, "Whew, that actually worked. Okay." So now, because he happened to grab the data crystal from the console before everything exploded, and he sees what had actually happened, and he's saddened. He's like, So that confirms that. Well, in any case, so what I would like, sir, is if we can use this to train these two. And she's like, why? And it's like, well, the material here, it's kind of been reinforced. It's almost as though, like, we can't destroy the stuff here. So, and if this place is set up anything like a forward operating base that our 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 species does exactly, then it should have training rooms. So they do find the training rooms. And so they haven't really explored this. They just basically hung out in the main room that has the main projection podium crystal thing. So then Inko kind of walks up to Hisashi and grabs his arm while the three kids kind of like go at it. And Sarah like basically flies up and they're like, no fair, you're flying. And Sarah's like, it's not my fault that you haven't learned yet. And this kind of irks Izuku a little bit, and he jumps, and he basically catches her, and they fall back to the ground, because Izuku kind of, like, put her off balance. And he's like, you shouldn't be gloating, as he stands up, like, you haven't gotten the hang of it yet, either. And so these interactions will happen from time to time, and Inko is like, dear, I think it's about time we, like, young Bakugo learns our secret. And Deku comes running over and he's like, wait, you told him? And Inko's like, no, sweetie, I haven't told him yet. But and it's a good thing Sarah's coming, because I needed to speak with her about this too, because it does involve her. So Sarah comes back down after, like, because, is still a little bit of a little kid, and she flew around a little bit. And these three, they're just thoroughly enjoying this, because they've never been, like, able to, like, truly let loose, like, their strength for fear of, like, destroying something or causing, like, panic or something like that. Because, I mean, for Christ's sake, Sarah basically got the same treatment that Clark did. Just different time. So, Sashi's like, so what is it, dear? And she turns to Sarah. And she, like, basically grabs Izuku and pulls him in front of her. Well, you see, my son has a best friend. And things have gotten weird because he's had to keep his secret. And, well, his mother somewhat already knows. But she's like, she knows we're not what we seem, but has told me that if it comes down to it, time to where after her son was born, if it comes down to them not being friends or stuff, she will, like, take it. So, my friend, she does know about us a little bit, but this is more concerning my son and his best friend. And Izuku, like, basically is looking down, like, kind of so and Sarah's like asking, what's wrong? And he's like, yeah, this is, I feel like the secret's, like, tearing my friendship with him, like, out. And it's not, it's agitating. Like, I've known him for so long now, and to lose a friend like that, it would suck, because it's like I can't tell him, like, a secret. And what I've learned about you today, you would need to say so too. And Sarah's like, oh, like, if you think it's safe to tell him, then go for it. My friend, she kind of found out. She kind of found out, by accident, and it was for a time there, it almost broke us up, but if you guys are already at the point where, like, if you're as good of friends with him as I think you are, like I am with my friend, you'll be fine. And Inko and Hisashi get a little worried, and they're like, wait, someone else knows your secret? And this is when Sarah kind of frowns, and a tear kind of comes down her eye. And they're like, what's wrong? And Sarah's like, well, that's why I want to be a hero. And I made a few trips without my parents knowing about me leaving the country because, well, they died in an accident, and I wasn't strong enough to save her. And Inka immediately walks over to her and, like, grabs her, and she tells Hisashi to, like, look after the kids a little bit. And she basically flies her away, like, to outside, and to, like, the top of the fortress. And they have a conversation. And Inko's like, okay, so you lost one of your friends when you were younger. And Sarah's like, yeah, it's still kind of rough. But now I know why I was different. And everything. And she's like, well, sweetie, if you ever really want to talk about it, I know what it's like. I've buried a lot of friends in my time. From my stint in military work and police work. Because crime does exist on our Krypton, and we haven't really gotten a handle on it. And there was that one time, and it was rough for our people for a while, but now everything's gotten better. And Sarah's like, what's up with that? And Ingo's like, it's not really important. And to answer your question earlier, I've figured out a way. We'll explain that our race, we're homogenous like the Japanese are. And that should suffice, because with only three examples, but it would be a little bit believable. Because worst case worst, they'll think that you're just another one of my kids, and I can deal with that too. So, again, I'm pretty sure my husband, he's asked you to use this facility. And we really would appreciate it. And I promise you that we'll get you back to your people. If not, we'll figure out what happened to them, because that part of your tech crystal kind of got destroyed, I'm assuming. And Sarah basically hugs her, and she's like, thank you. It's just kind of surreal, you know, finding out that you're an alien, and not only that, but your favorite hero is kind of from the same place that you're from. Sorry. So Sarah's smiling at this, and Inko, like, laughs, and she's like, you do kind of remind me of when I was younger a little bit, but, so, I have something that I would like little help with. And she basically explains her plan for Katsuki and Izuku. And Sarah's like, really? You're gonna give them training? And she's like, well, not only them, but you too. You grew up here, and it seemed like you were having fun. Playing with the kids earlier. And Sarah's like, yeah, I've never been able to, like, really let loose. Feels like I'm living in a world of paper, you know? And Inko laughs. It's like, yeah, I get that. But we do have to talk. I haven't showed people the I thing. And your identity from that, unless they're super smart, they wouldn't be able to figure that out either. So, you can use them, but know that it will draw attention. Me and my husband, we kind of hide those abilities to basically draw less attention. So we should get back in. You're okay now, right? And she's like, yeah. And then so she gets in. Hisashi kind of apologizes. So does Izuku. And Sarah's like, it's no issue. Your family didn't know. You guys have only met me like several months ago. So, when you're leaving this off at, Inko has talked to Mitsuki about giving Katsuki some training. And she explained her plan to try to fix her son's, help her son fix his friendship. And Sarah, like missing her friend, has agreed to help out. So, this is going to be a fun next episode. And I'm sorry this episode was a little bland, but I figured with the first part and this one, I can really get into some more things, like more action, and really go over why Katsuki is going to be as strong as he is. I didn't want to do like a flashback on this one. So that being said, thank you guys so much for the new series, how well it's been received, all the likes, all the comments again. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.